All right, so I'm back. It's been a long time since I've done one of my videos where I'm working on a project inside my house, remodeling something. So this summer I'm going to be working on some different projects, so I'm going to be showing them and sharing them on my social media. So right now, the first two that I'm going to be working on are this shelf and then also this cabinet. So our daughter got married and moved out of the house, so now we have an empty bedroom that I'm in. And basically, we're going to turn this into a guest bedroom. So we're going to do some repainting. Of course, I'm going to do my lovely decorating and really turn this room into a beautiful guest room. So the first two projects are these two. What I'm going to start off doing with both of them, because they both have like a laminate coating, is I'm going to sand them down. And then once I sand them down, I'm going to put, this is what I have. So it's the Kills All-Purpose Primer. So I'm going to coat them with 2 coats of primer, and then I'm going to do some really cool colors. I'm not going to share with you what the colors are going to look like. You're just going to see them at this level. I'll take some pictures of when I get them sanded, what they look like primed, and then you're going to have to wait till the end of when I'm done, and then I will show you guys the final project of what I'm doing. I'm also going to be doing a dining room hutch that I got on Facebook Marketplace for free. So I'll be stripping that as well, putting on new handles, painting it to match my decor in my dining room. So I've got a couple of projects going on. Not to mention, I'll be finishing the front yard. So yeah, I'll be sharing a whole bunch of different things that I'm doing for home improvement. So you guys stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Okay, so here's the kind of a rundown of the room. Right now, there's an old bed and an old dresser that we're going to be getting rid of, which is, of course, going to open up the space more. So when we initially started painting the inside of the house, which was a couple summers ago, like almost 3 years ago now, before I got married, we just did basic white and then trimmed everything in gray. So in this room, what we're going to be doing is taking everything to white, including the frames. I'm going to do everything stark white. And the reason why that I like to do the walls white and not use colors is because I like to accent with colors, and it also gives me the ability that when I get tired of the colors that I'm using, I can always switch out pillows and pictures and area rugs and curtains and everything else that's colorful to whatever other colors I want, instead of having to ever repaint walls. Now, don't get me wrong. If you ever come to my house, my walls stay white, and that is because I work very diligently at keeping them washed, and I also touch up the paint at least every, 2 months or so. I go around my entire house and I touch up all the paint in my house. I know it's a little ridiculous, but hey, that's what I do. So basically in here, we're just going to bring this entire room all to white. These are the two pieces of furniture that I'm going to be working on. But yeah, so once we get this other stuff that's around in here out of the way, we are going to have more space. And what we're going to do is probably end up with a either couch that turns into a hide-a-bed, or like a futon, something that can be sat up when we don't have guests over, that we can also utilize this room for other things. My husband plays many different instruments and does music, so this is a place that he can go in here and have a sanctuary to do that. So yeah, we're gonna make this room probably multifunctional, which I'm excited to do. And we're gonna bring some color, of course, into it, but you'll have to see what I'm gonna do with the color. That's a surprise. So tune in. All right, guys, so I am back. As you can see, I am like literally covered in dust from when I was sanding both the bookshelf and this like armoire. So, and now I am covered in primer. So I was able to get the sanding all done and then do the first coat of primer on both the bookshelf and the armoire. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys take a look. Okay, so this is the bookshelf. I basically took the shelves off. They're over here. So they have been sanded, but I will paint those separately. So right now, this is the actual bookshelf. It is now primed. This one shelf is like bolted in, so I wasn't able to take it out. So I just had to paint it while it was in there. So this is completely covered from head to toe. And then the armoire also is completely covered. So inside and then also outside as well. So now that I've done the first coat, I will let it dry overnight. And then tomorrow, I will go ahead and apply the second coat. And then I will decide if I want to do a third coat. Probably not. I think it should probably be good with the second coat because the paint that I'm going to use is really good quality paint, as well as it's really thick. And it's also a dark color. It's not going to be a light color. So we'll see by tomorrow how it looks. But hopefully we'll only need to do a second coat. And then we will be on to painting probably next weekend. Or if I get a chance in between work, I might slap on a coat of paint as well. So we'll see if I have enough time this week, but probably not. So it probably will be Saturday or Sunday. But yeah, stay tuned to see the finished product. I will give you updates as we keep trucking along. Thanks for watching. Good morning and happy Memorial Day. So today is day 2. I am going to be repriming the bookshelf as well as the armoire cabinet. So once I get the second coat of primer on, it will need to dry and cure for at least 24 hours, but I'll probably just allow it to just stay that way for a couple days because I'll be going back to work tomorrow. And then once that is done, basically we will be able to start painting. As well as today, I'm going to also prime the bookshelves that were actually removable that I was able to like lay down on the on some plastic to paint. So I'm going to do those as well and get everything ready so that when I am able to paint, everything will be ready to go. Okay, so today, this is what it looks like when it actually dries. So it's just like a nice like coating. I'm going to, of course, go back over it again, and then I will look after it dries the second time and see if I might want to do it a third time. The purpose of doing this is because when you're dealing with any type of shelving or bookshelves that have any type of coating on them, like a laminate or any type of like polish coating or anything like that, if you just try to paint it, the paint will dry and just peel off. So you really have to sand it and get rough it up, and then you got to turn around and do the primer so that the paint actually has something to stick to. So because I really don't want to have to go back and redo this again, if need be, I will definitely put on a third coat of primer because once the paint goes on, I want the paint to definitely stick. So pretty much, you know, this is the bookshelf where I was able to remove some of the shelving. So this is pretty much what it looks like. And then these are the shelves that I was able to remove down there. I'm not using drop cloths because this carpet throughout our whole house is going to have to go away. We're going to be redoing that as well. So that is one of the big projects that has to be done on our house. So I'm not too worried about the carpet. It's kind of a reminder for me that it's going and never to feel like, oh, we could keep it. So, yeah, day 2 is going to go off with a hitch. I should be done within a couple of hours, and then it'll be time for this to just sit and dry. So, I will be back again with a different video, but this time I might let you guys get a sneak peek of the colors that I'm going to be using when I start the armoire and the bookshelf. And of course, after that, I probably at some point won't let you see it until it's completely done because it's going to be really pretty. And then of course, once the decoration, the painting goes down in the room and everything else, I will be making videos so you can join me and kind of see the process of how this room is going to take shape. So I'm excited for you guys to come along with on the journey with me, and I will talk to you soon. Hello, hello, hello. So today I'm back just sharing a little bit of what I've been doing. I thought I was going to be able to work on my projects until this weekend, but I was able to sneak in some times here and there throughout the week. So I was able to get some stuff done. Right now, I just currently got done second coating the bookshelf. So I'm using multiple colors, so it looks kind of crazy until, you know, it starts to develop. But so far, the base color that I'm using, I was able to put on a second coat. Once it dries, I will decide if I'm going to do a third coat because I want it to be really dark and rich. And then I have gotten a first coat of the panels on the armoire that I'm going to do the dark rich color that I'm using too as well. So I am going to let you guys see a little bit of the project as far as like what I've accomplished on both of them now. And then I'm pretty much going to maybe let you see a little bit more, but then I just want to go kind of dormant on this series of videos until the actual bookshelf and armoire are finished, and then you can see the finished product. But I will talk about a little bit what I've done, what I found, errors that I made or anything like that as I've been going along. Okay, so as you can see, the color that I'm using is a dark, deep purple color. So the base of the bookshelf is going to be this dark purple. This is the back of the bookshelf, which actually was, because this had a laminate on it. It was one of those, I don't know, probably a cheap bookshelf from, you know, IKEA or somewhere. The back of it was like that thick kind of corrugated, like cardboard type stuff, that's like nailed. And so I had to go back and like reinforce it because it was kind of lifting. And then what I did was I went ahead and just painted it. And I was, you know, it was cardboard, but actually the paint stuck really well to it. So I just kind of covered it because it was like an ugly, you know, fake wood shade. So I didn't really want to leave it, even though of course it's going to be up against the wall and nobody would notice, but I know. So I went ahead and just painted it the purple. So I also did the inside of it purple. I did have an idea to do different shades of purple, and as far as like on each little shelf. The only problem with this is that the shelves come out, so it wouldn't have, I don't know. I thought it was going to look kind of dumb if I tried to do it. If you've seen my other video on the bookshelves that are built in my family room, that I was able to actually do that. It's a really cool idea to bring out the different shades of colors that you're using. And of course, my built-in bookshelves in my house the shelves don't come out. So it was really easy to paint each background and stuff its own unique color. Whereas this one is harder because the shelves come out, and just trying to make that like straight line of, you know, deciding what color is, you know, stops and starts. And I just didn't want to have to do that. So I decided that I will figure out, you know, how to bring in the different shades of purple that I want to use elsewhere in this bookshelf. But yes, so this is what I have done so far. And what I did the first time was that, you know, sometimes it's always trial and error. So I was painting the entire bookshelf with a brush. And then I remembered that I had leftover painting supplies from when we were painting our house. And so I found a small roller, and so then I decided to incorporate using the roller. So of course with the roller, you will have to do some cutting. So you'll need to take like a paintbrush, a small one, and then basically go around the corners with the small brush and cover that, and then use the roller to cover the rest. That's how you'll end up making sure that you completely cover all the area of the space that you're trying to paint. So yeah, so this is what I've done so far with this one. It's turned out pretty dang good. I do realize that yes, there is paint on the white, which is perfectly fine because that's going to be another color. I would say that if by chance you got paint on an area that maybe the color was going to be super light, then what I would say to do is go back over the dark paint that got onto the white with some more primer. And then it would cover that, and then you'd be able to just go ahead and use the lighter color. For me, I am not using a light color, so it's not going to really matter. And since I'm using multiple shades of purples, it's fine. If I was using a completely different color, if I was going to use a completely different color or a lighter shade, then of course I'd want to go back over these areas, like right in here, where I've gotten, it was actually the roller that hit the side of that. So, yeah. So, and then for the armor, this one is the first coat. The paint that I'm using, so I did not want it to be shiny. I wanted it to be a flat paint because I wanted it to be flat. I did not want either one of these to be shiny. So, I mean, if you want some gloss, then you would probably want to use a satin. Me personally, I did not want gloss. And what I decided is that if I got done painting it and I did want it to be shiny, then I would just throw a coat of polyurethane over top of it. So when I stained my cabinets in my kitchen, basically, I stained them a really dark, it's pretty much black. And when it dries, the stain, it dries to a flat matte finish. And so in order to get my cabinets protected and also shiny, I just threw a coats of polyurethane over top, which gave them an amazing gloss and also protected them so that when you wipe your cabinets, or when things splash on them, you're not wiping off the stain. You're actually just, it makes it really easy and just kind of slides off. So I also, a tip that I just thought about when I had finished painting the kitchen, on the backsplash of where the stove is, usually, you know, you cook things and that gets on there. And so what I'd found was that the white paint that was on there, I couldn't get the stains that were, you know, from cooking off of it. So I repainted it white, slapped the polyurethane coating on it. And now whenever I get any type of food or spaghetti, you know, when you're cooking spaghetti sauce and it just kind of bubbles and pops, if any of that gets on that backsplash, where my stove is, I can just wipe it right off without having to worry about it, and it doesn't stain the white paint. So there's a tip that I figured out after the fact. But yeah, so this one, basically I was hand painting it, just with a brush, trying to just get it covered to kind of see what it was going to look like. It looks a wreck right now, but of course, you know, it will not, trust me. So basically I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to cut around, the sides. So here, also around here with a paintbrush, and follow that all the way down. And then I will also be rolling this one. And then once it dries, the second coat of this, I will decide as well if I am going to coat it a third time or leave it alone. And then, of course, you can see the white parts. This is left because I will be adding in different shades of purple to this one and trimming it. I also have left this open because these are really cool shelves. They don't come out, so I might incorporate the idea that I had for the bookshelf into this one and do each little cubby, the back wall, a different shade of purple and alternate it. So we'll see. So I'm pretty excited that I was able to work on this, some of it during this week. I'm getting ready to tear up a grass section in our front yard because we're going to be changing it. So I don't know if I will have more time to work on it, but as I do some more work, I will share it with you. And then, of course, like I said, there's going to be a point where I'm going to stop sharing until I completely finish it. And then you guys will be able to see the finished product and what it looks like. So I will see you guys soon. And thank you so much for watching. All right. So I'm going to warn you, I am not the neatest painter at all. Like, when it comes to painting, I can paint to get the job done, but I am not like the person who, you know, makes sure that, you know, nothing falls on the floor or anything like that. very messy. I usually end up with probably just as much paint on me as I do on whatever I'm painting. So basically what I was talking about as far as cutting is just, you want to use a brush because the roller is not going to get into the seams. The roller, the edge is going to only allow it to get to coat so much, and then you're going to have like this huge weird line. So what you want to do is you want to go in and cut this with a brush, and then once you get this all covered, this area covered that will not be able to be rolled, then you'll go back in with your roller and you will just start rolling. So I literally go to the Dollar Tree to get this stuff. So like if you go to your Dollar Tree, I mean, sometimes of course, you know, they are out of stuff a lot lately, but like I usually, when I go there and I see painting supplies, I will stack up on painting supplies, because with me, I'm always gonna have at some point in time, some type of project that I'm gonna want to do where I'm gonna need that stuff. So I usually just try to stack up. This little tray, I'm pretty sure I got it at the Dollar Tree. It came with a roller. It came with some really bad gloves that I would not recommend. They look like the gloves that you would serve food with when you were like a kid in elementary and you worked in the cafeteria. So I'd recommend getting like better gloves, some latex gloves. And then it came with like a brush that basically you would use to cut your projects so that you could not have to worry about trying to roll those corners. So basically once I do that, I just go in and I start rolling. And normally I have gloves on, but it's too late. I already started the video and I don't feel like stopping or going over there to get them. So I'm going without them. But yeah, I like the fact of using a roller because it goes by a lot faster than when you try to like literally brush. Paint with a brush, it takes forever. Even if you're using a big brush, it still takes forever. Whereas when you use a roller, it just goes by so much quicker, and I just like the way that the paint goes on. So yeah, you just basically get in there, start rolling, and work your way either up or down, depending on what you prefer, or sometimes where you just start off. And like I had said, I am using different shades of purple, but all of them are like deep shades. None of them are light, and I'm also not using any other color but purple for these. So I'm not really worried about hitting the sides as much because they are going to get covered in a different shade, but the shade is going to be dark too as well. And if I get to the decision that I want to use maybe a lighter shade and I do have the dark, I will just go back, recover it with primer, back to white, and then start from there. And when I do that, especially when I get to these edges, I will be using the little brushes that you get for like hand painting brushes that you get in the like art section of like a craft store. Those are the type of brushes that I use when I want to get like really fine and detailed. I just grab some of those, and that's what I'll use for like tiny little areas. Especially like places like this, or even in the inside of this, which is even smaller. And they have different types. So they have some that are like small and they're straight. They have some that are like almost angled to where you can kind of like use it to get into the little crevices. So I really like using those because then I have more control, because I'm not the grandest painter. So like I like the fact that when I use the smaller brushes, I have more control over getting in and really detailing something without getting paint everywhere. So yeah, so basically once you roll it, you just want to make sure you go back through and like any lines that you see, just kind of roll them out, where the like excess paint kind of like just has ran off the roller. And then basically you just let this dry. Once it dries, if it looks, up to par how you want it to look, then you can do 2 coats. Me personally, I'm probably gonna end up doing 3 coats just because I want it to be very dark and very rich. It's pretty much kind of like I would say like borderline eggplanty color, but really what the color is called is violet beret. I don't know. But I got it at Lowe's, and it's made by Valspar, the paint company. So I just did the Valspar flat paint. Took it up and had the guys mix it. I asked for this one. And so, yeah, you can just find it at your local Lowe's. But I really liked the color because I liked that it was really dark. It kind of reminded me of like getting on the side of like eggplant color. And so yeah, I decided that this is what I was going to go with. So I do want to darken it, so I'm going to go for 3 coats on each thing, the bookshelf and the armoire. But yeah, so pretty much this is what I've been doing when I'm not making a video. So see you next time. So I just wanted to share a really quick tip. One of the things that I do is instead of every day, because having to rinse out the brushes only to use the same color again, what I've been doing is putting the brushes while they're still wet inside a plastic Ziploc bag, and then sucking out as much air as possible, and then just wrapping them and leaving them. They don't dry out. When I open them the next time I need them, they're still wet. Even the one that I used to do the primer is right here. This one I haven't used in days, and if you look really closely, like, it's still full of paint, and it's not dry, it's not brittle, it is literally still wet. It's just as wet as it was. So it doesn't dry out. It's just a good way to, like, if you're going to continue to use, the same paintbrush, instead of having to just wash them out and then have them dry every night. Of course, if you're going to be switching up colors or you're done, you would, of course, want to wash out your brushes. But in the meantime, since I'm probably going to use this again, well, I am going to use this again because I still have a hutch to sand and prime. So I'm probably just going to let this be until later. But also, it's just an easy way to keep your brushes moist, keep them from drying out and getting crunchy, and also be able to just grab them quickly and be able to reuse them when need be. So just a quick tip on what I do with my paintbrushes.